Good evening, Charlottesville. Good evening, Charlottesville. How we doing? I believe that we all had a fantastic day. Some went to church, some went on the beach, some went and do some fishing, some did some cleaning and some cooking. But we're here to have a conversation. So I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to another episode of our community conversations with your prospective candidates. And we are here in the beautiful village of Charlottesville. You know, there is always a fight about which village is the most beautiful village in Tobago. And coming from East Knoll, I have a real love for Charlottesville. I have a love for Charlottesville. I still ain't saying, but I have a real love for Charlottesville. It is always good. It is always good to be in Charlottesville. And so at this time, I want to invite all of us to stand as we call on Miss Beverly John Baptiste to give us our opening prayer, which will be followed by the national anthem.
Heavenly Father, as we gather once more, Father God, for our conversation, which taking place in Charlottesville, all kind of things taking place. Father God, as we bring the representative, the candidate, Father God, to give us whatsoever He is about to do for us. Father God, we ask guidance and protection, dear Lord. Father God, that we can go through this meeting in decency and in order, and our conversation must be sensitive, that the candidate can know how he will go along his business. Father God, we know the situation of Charlottesville. And Father God, if it's your will, let your will be done. And let us continue to trust in the Almighty God and see how things work in. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. And thank God for bringing us out here safe. And when we're about to leave, Lord, take us safely to our home of our border. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.
Please be seated. So as I said before, I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to another installment of our community conversations, where we highlight the fact that Tobago deserves better. For 4 years, we've seen what an administration that does not have the ability to manage an island, the level of destruction that they can wreak on an island. If you look throughout your own community of Charlottesville, you will recognize the level of neglect, the level of abandonment that has taken place over the last 4 years. I don't know about you, but I believe that when members of the community gave the then PDP administration, now TPP administration, a chance to govern Tobago, and the chief secretary came from this electoral district, I believe you expected there to be better things and greater things in this district. But we've seen over the years abandonment, we've seen neglect. The People's National Movement would have left, and if we look right across the playing field, the People's National Movement would have left a project that if it was continued, would have been completed by now. And you would recognize that it is only because an election is in the air that you've seen construction restart on the project. And there is no doubt that the People's National Movement had Charlottesville and the electoral district of Palativille, Lansome, Speyside as part of the family. As part of the family. The Chief Secretary didn't have to come from this electoral district for development to take place in this electoral district. The People's National Movement is about an all-of-Tobago development approach. And so tonight, we want to continue that conversation. This is part 2 of this electoral district's conversation. Because of its unique geographical makeup, you had to have 2 meetings in this electoral district. One that took place last week in Castara, and we are here this evening in what some may call the pride of Tobago in Charlottesville. And so at this time, I want to welcome to the stage 2 gentlemen to take their seats. I want to welcome the prospective candidate for the Palativille Lansome Speyside District, Mr. Maxlon Roberts, to take his seat. I also want to invite you to a rousing round of applause, stand to your feet as we welcome to the stage and to take his seat the political leader of the Tobago Council of the People's National Movement, Mr. Ansel Dennis. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is your time to talk to these 2 gentlemen. And so the structure for this evening is that we're going to have opening statements by the 2 gentlemen, which will be then followed by an open mic session. And so we invite you to feel free to get to the mic. If you don't want to get to the mic can be brought to you so that you can ask very pointed questions to 2 able gentlemen. One, his vision for the district, and the other one, his vision for Tobago. And so at this time, I want to invite Mr. Maxlon Roberts to give him a few minutes to tell us who is Maxlon, what is his desire, what is his dream for Tobago and for the district of Palativille and Speyside. Mr. Roberts.
Charlottesville, good evening. This is a pleasure to be here. But before I actually go into my reason for being here, I want to posthumously acknowledge a stalwart. I've been informed that we lost a stalwart by the name of Miss Elizabeth Jack, a.k.a. Stranger. A a stalwart to the district, and I must acknowledge her. I think the homegoing ceremony would be on Tuesday, and I will definitely be here. Because I was informed that had Stranger been here, if she had to crawl to come down here, she was coming. All right, so I must acknowledge that. And this evening, I also want to acknowledge my colleagues, those who took up this challenge with us, with me. We don't have the full 15 here, but we have quite a few, and I want to acknowledge them, and I want to thank them for the support, because we grew as a team, we trained as a team, we worked as a team from the day we were selected till this time, and we've stuck together as a team, and I want to commend you all for staying the course, and by God's grace, we will see it through. And finally, I want to acknowledge our political leader for his foresight, his vision, the vision that he has not only for the People's National Movement, but for Tobago and I want to thank him for his service, for his dedication, and for his commitment to growing this team. This evening, I decided I am going to speak to the people of Charlottesville and the electoral district, but particularly the people of Charlottesville, because there is something about the people of Charlottesville that I love. You know what that is? They don't talk with water in their mouth. They just tell you exactly how they feel. So I decided I'm going to make it my duty that to carry you all on a journey exactly who is your candidate, what your candidate has been through, and why I am here at this juncture, offering myself to serve you, the people, not just of Charlottesville, but this beautiful electoral district. So I want you all to, they say, come see me and come live with me is two different things. I am going to give you an insight into coming and live with me so you have a clear understanding of who your candidate is. So bear with me. Mr. Christopher, I might take a little 5 minutes, but allow me to talk to the people so that they know who is really going forward to represent them and why the desire that I have to represent them and where it comes from. So I'm going to be quick but intense. For those of you who don't know, I wasn't successful at common entrance. In those days was common entrance, right? So the younger people would know about common entrance. Now it's what, C? Or SCA or something like that. So I failed common entrance twice because I was young and I got 2 chances at it. I have an aunt from Trinidad here and she could bear me out. The second time I failed, you know what Mother say? Mother said, well, you'll catch crab till you're dead. Because as a young boy, that's what we do, we catch crab. That was my first hustle, catching crab and thing. I'm a grog person. But after that, I went to trade school. I went to Roxborough Trade School and I learned masonry. So I'm a mason by trade. I came out of that was age 16, come out, I think it was 2 years, come out at 18. Did some work all over the place, doing masonry work. And I have a big sister, and you have to acknowledge, you see when people or someone believes in you and sees your potential that you can't see and they believe in you and they give you that chance. And I have a big sister. She looked at me at age 18 and said to me, she told me, she asked me to read something. She gave me something to read and I read it. She said, well, like, you're not ready for school. No, she said, you're not ready for school. She said, you want to go back to school? I said, yeah. And at that time, there was Elizabeth's College, Moraine. Again, some of you may not know of it, but that was a big institution. And I had to pay to go back to Elizabeth's College. And I went back to Elizabeth's College at age 18, going on 19, in Form 1. So I was in Form 1 with people 13, 12 in my class. I had a lot of people from Charlottesville in my class as well. There's a young man by the name of 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐫𝐥𝐨𝐭. I don't know if you all know him. That boy gave me hell. The Charlottesville people gave me hell because I was the prefect and all of that. But I went through that process. I went through that process because I had a dream, I had a desire. And I got the opportunity and I took it. So I went through that process. Unfortunately, Elizabeth's College came and collapsed when I was in 4th form, going to 5th form to do exams because they opened Speyside, they opened Goodwood, and they opened Mason Hall. That was just around the time when these schools were open. And apparently, they used to send students to these schools, and they would have pulled their students, the normal age students, and filled these schools. So I couldn't go because at that time I 20-something going away. So I had to fight that battle alone because the school eventually collapsed because they couldn't maintain themselves. But I stick to it and I went and I did my exams privately. scrape some passes. And my life changed when someone told me, why you don't apply to 𝐂𝐴F, UTT? I didn't know what that was, the agriculture institution. And I did. And lo and behold, I got through. And I got through to do tertiary level studies as a mature student, not based on qualifications, as a mature entry. And thank God for GATE. And I'm going to say it again, thank God for GATE. That thing that we take for granted now, it was only because of this initiative by the People's National Movement that I could have ever seen the life of tertiary level education, because I could not have afforded it. My aunt is there, she knows what we've been through. So I got through and I got that grant, and I took that and I excelled. I excelled at UTT. I topped my class in UTT, 𝐂𝐴F. I went to UE. I excelled. I did all of that. And I want to give you all an experience. Something that I want this to soak in. Once I was in, my first job was a farm manager in Las Lomas, Trinidad. I don't know if you're all familiar with that area. But my auntie here, she's Trinidad, so she knows the area. And you will know the kind of persons who live in that area. So I managed a farm. And when I went to the farm, it was a 26-acre farm. They had livestock, they have crops, and I was called in as a young boy. There was a guy on the farm who inherited, he lived there, so with his family. And I go on in and I doing my thing. It doesn't matter where you put me to work, I work. Because I have a duty and I stick to my duty. But I got an experience that awoken me to something that I was never exposed to. So he was responsible for getting me to the farm, dropping me back on the main road so I get my transport. And the day I was exiting the vehicle, this gentleman looked across me, looked through his window, looked at a colleague of his outside and said, "Hey, what's going on? I'm looking for, and I'll use the polite word, I'm looking for a Negro to buy." That's not what he said, but I'm using the correct word. You all could pick sense from nonsense. He's looking for a Negro to buy. That thing shocked me. It was the first time I wasn't aware of what was happening. It's when I went home and I sat down and I was like, what just happened there? You know, who he chose? Well, obviously it's me he chose it for, right? And I want to say to the people of Tobago and the people who think like that and the people who associate themselves with people who think like that, Tobago is not for sale. That's right. Tobago is not for sale. So I lived through that. Left that. Going up Lupino now. All this time I'm in Trinidad fighting to get my master's degree. So I've gotten my first degree, I got my second degree, master's degree now. Going to UE. But the next gentleman has this farm, he wants to develop the farm. Going up in Lupino, San Rafael to be exact. Living conditions. Going in a house, no roof. I ain't sure that, no roof. So you gotta fix back the roof at some point. Never fix back the roof. And I stayed there for 6 months because that is what I had to do to finish my thesis. I used to walk a mile from in a farm, walk to the main road, catch a vehicle, go to St. Augustine, sit in the library all day to finish my thesis. I want you all to understand the caliber of your candidate and why he's so passionate about Tobago. Finish my thesis. I had to duck out there. When you walk, you can't let night catch you outside because you can't walk back in that road. And that is why I know about Mapapi. Well, you know Mapapi is the animal Mapapi that. Them snakes will kill you. Met a few of them on the road going in there. That is what I have been through. Whilst I was doing my bachelor's as well, after I left 𝐂𝐴𝐵, because you were housed in 𝐂𝐴𝐵, I went in an old house, right outside campus, cleaned the old house and lived there. I lived there for 3 years because I could not afford to accommodation. I can't work and study full time. I can't. I don't know how some people do it. When I'm doing something, I'm doing something. And that is what I've been through. And that house up to today, Tobago here, I still go in that house. I stay where they go to Trinidad. Police come and kick down my door and run me out of that house. I stayed. I get robbed in that house at gunpoint. I stayed. Because I had a vision and I had a dream, and I must succeed at my dream regardless of what. So I stuck it out. And today I am here. And let me tell you about why this election is so critical and why the People's National Movement is the only organization, the only institution that is going to move Tobago forward. After I have accomplished 3 degrees, 2 masters, a bachelor's and a diploma, I came back to Tobago, applied to THA, finally got through with a job under the People's National Movement that suited my qualifications. That was in 2020, sorry. Election came in 2021. You know what these people did? Ask Giselle, she knows, she's in the division. I was in charge of reforestation, I was the project manager of reforestation. You know what these people did? You talk about weaponizing a department. Let me tell you how there's weaponized a department. They came, restructured the org chart of the organization that I built. When I got that job, we built out whatever it is reforestation. We worked and we built it out. We created that institution. They came. And let me tell you what your area representative did. Restructured the org chart, removed project manager, and put in program manager. And tell me I had to reapply because you have no project manager position in the org chart structure. All up to a little while, I'm still waiting for an answer. 3 years ago, just got my son, got a daughter, have 3 mouths to feed. How you applying here, there, and everywhere, and they know they have no intention of hiring you. None. Because then they send me TADCO, same thing. None. That is what I had to go through. And up till this day, unemployed. Well, I can't work. You know where's the work I have now? You see the reforestation that I built? That we hired contractors, and then the contractors come and they hire laborers and stuff. What are the contractor give me work? I give me work as a laborer. So right now I just go on morning work as a laborer. That is why. That is the caliber of your. That is what, and this is why we can't make the same mistake. This is why it is important that we ensure that a party that is caring, that is just, that is right for Tobago and Tobagonians, that has the best interests of Tobago and Tobagonians at heart, not victimization, is put back in power. And the only party that can do that is the People's National Movement. So I have come offering myself not with bribes, not with money, we come in a hand on, not with an agenda to sell out. I have come offering myself, wearing the hat of humility, a heart filled with compassion, and a desire to serve the people. A desire to serve with integrity. A desire to serve with fairness. A desire to serve justly, not just to some, but to all the people of this electoral district. And that is why I am here today, offering myself to serve you, the people, because that is what I have been through. And I know what it means to stick to something. And I want to say something before I close, to the young men in particular. Do not ever let this society limit your potential. I am a living example of if I had given up when they said, when my mother said, you're like a catch crab till you're dead, I might have been catching crabs still. That is one. And secondly, I am here because I am of the firm belief that no man, woman, or child should ever have to go through what I have been through to get to where I am. It shouldn't be so hard. So I offer myself to serve, and I have given you, in a nutshell, who your candidate is. I thank you.
I think we could do better than that for Maxlon. Spoken from the heart. You could see the emotion coming out from a man who has been through the ringer and is now offering himself to you to work for you, on behalf of you. Put your hands together again for Mr. Robert. Well, they say this gentleman needs no introduction, but then you don't need a master of ceremonies or a chairman for a meeting. Yeah? And so the other gentleman to speak to us, I hope he doesn't get ready to set his timer, is a gentleman, as you said, that needs no introduction. A young man who came into the party willing to serve as well, and has served as assistant secretary, area representative for Buku-Mount Pleasant, served as chief secretary, is now serving as the political leader of the Tobago Council of the People's National Movement. Ladies and gentlemen in Charlottesville, put your hands together as we invite Mr. Ansel Dennis, or as we say, Brother Ansel Dennis, to give us his opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Brother Hislop. Of course, it is always a pleasure to be in beautiful Charlottesville, a community I consider to be the second most beautiful village in Tobago. After Buku, where I was born. But I really, really love Charlottesville, and I love to be in Charlottesville. And as I drove in, I reminded myself that it has been some time since I went to Pirates Bay. And I am due for a Pirates Bay visit and a bath. The last time I came, I think it was in 2024, and I took a nice kayak journey across the bay all the way to Pirates Bay. So I need to come back soon to visit that lovely location of Pirates Bay. I went to Lovers Bay a couple of times, but of course, that one is further up. And I guess by the name of it, it's really for lovers. But it's always good to be in this community of Charlottesville. You know, I sat and I listened to Maxlon's very interesting story, but not only was it interesting, it was also very motivational, because there you have a young man who, as he said, failed common entrance, but he did not give up. And I am happy that the PNM was able to build an education system that allowed persons finding themselves in that situation to still make it to the point of getting 2 master's degrees and 1 bachelor's degree. But it is important to note that for him it wasn't easy. He had to demonstrate character, He had to demonstrate resilience. He had to demonstrate tenacity. He had to demonstrate great strength and courage. And of course, along the way, he had to ignore the noise. What better man can you find to represent this electoral district of Palatobia, Lansamy, Speyside, and Charlottesville? What better candidate can you find? And therefore, it gives me great pleasure to sit here once again, just as I did in Castara, in support of this gentleman, and to tell you that your only chance of excellent representation, which you have not had for the last 4 years, is through Maxwell Roberts. Because if you were to examine the facts before us, and I wouldn't spend too much time reminding you of the last 4 years, I prefer to tell you of some things that we will do in this part of Tobago. But if you were to examine the facts of the last 4 years, this electoral district has the worst roads in Tobago. This electoral district has been abandoned. Your fishermen has been abandoned. The cold storage facility was fixed yet for the fishermen. So the abandonment continues. I was hoping that now that an election on the horizon, people would have been racing to Charlottesville to attempt to fix these issues. But even around election time, they don't care. And I tend to believe that in his mind, the mind of your current assemblyman, he is safe and solid as a rock that shall not be moved. And I guess he expects that in this election he can use the same old trick of gifts and goodies, and that you will come out in support of him. But I trust that on the next occasion, that the people of this district will have a surprise for him. But you have the worst roads. Your fishermen continue to be abandoned. The young people lack programs, they lack support. You had a facility ongoing, the construction of the community center and pavilion right next door, started by the PNM. 4 years has passed, and you have not seen any progress. Of course, God forbid if one of your people in this district, and more specifically this community of Charlottesville, was to fall ill and require emergency medical attention, you will call the ambulance and none will come because there is none available to come. Your farmers as well continue to be abandoned, no support, no programs. The farmland development program that was ongoing under the previous PNM administration was also scrapped and abandoned. The mini mall that we opened sometime in 2021 is still not fully utilized by this community. I understand as well that due to a lack of maintenance, some issues have developed with the building, and nothing has been done for the last 4 years. I understand as well that Turpin Bend is something that the people of Charlottesville wanted fixed for a long time now. The previous PNM administration got to the point of designs, tender, contract selected, and your assemblyman believed that there were other priorities rather than the people of Charlottesville. So the money that was set aside to fix Turpin Bend and to make it safer for persons traversing into Charlottesville was used to do other things in other parts of the island to benefit other people from outside of Tobago. Such is the level of consideration and such is the level of importance, or lack thereof, placed upon you and your lives by your current area representative and Chief Secretary, Assemblyman Farley Augustine. And I am here to tell you that you are better off with a PNM administration in office. You are better off with Maxwell Roberts as your assemblyman, and you will be better off with a Chief Secretary from Bucko Point. So, what will be done when you elect the next PNM administration into office? And I will say to you that our first priority will be to get the Tobago economy working for you, the people of Tobago, again. Because currently it is not working for you, the people of Tobago. We have, outside of the Tobago House of Assembly activities, two main contributors to economic activity on the island: tourism and agriculture. And I am sure over the last 4 years, all of you have seen the decline in those sectors. You have less visitors coming to Charlottesville. You have less food being produced from Charlottesville. You have less food being produced in Tobago, as a matter of fact. And your fishermen don't even have proper cold storage facilities. And it has been that way for 4 years. So there is no real incentive to catch a lot of fish because you don't have ice, you don't have facilities to store it. So our main objective is to really get those two sectors working again for you, the people of Tobago. Because we have to create more jobs. We have to create more employment opportunities. And it is a known fact that the THA cannot employ everybody. So we have to create other opportunities outside of the Tobago House of Assembly. And there are no better sectors to do that in Tobago than through the tourism sector, the agriculture sector, and of course, to a great extent as well, the construction sector. So what are we going to do for Charlottesville? The first thing we will do, especially when we talk about tourism and getting the economy working again, is that we have to change the face of Tobago. Tobago has aged significantly over the last 4 years. Tobago used to be, under the PNM, a beautiful 25-year-old in her prime. 4 years later, you might say, well, she should look 29. Tobago looks 69. And that is the truth. You know, I drove up all the way from Plymouth. I live at Plymouth, by the way. I was born in Bucko Point, but I live at Plymouth. All the way into Charlottesville. And I couldn't help but notice the poor state of the island, the roads, the roadsides, the public spaces, no maintenance, no love, no care given to this island that we claim to love. Under the PNM, that will change. And I want you to imagine with me for a bit, especially the people of Charlottesville, a situation where you're coming out. Well, let's start from the beginning of the electoral district, which is Delaford. And from Delaford, as you drive in, you have smooth roads, better roads, less potholes. I'm not going to say it's going to be perfect and all the roads will be smooth like a baby bottom. But with good road maintenance, you can have a situation where potholes can be fixed within a few days once they arrive. So imagine you're driving into Charlottesville, you start in Delaford, and your roads are a lot better, less potholes, well maintained. So it's less maintenance for you, especially those of you who drive vehicles, because you don't have potholes to go wrong into damage your tires and damage your shocks and your bushings and your steering rack and those parts of your vehicle. And then the walls now along the roadsides, those retaining walls that are currently either covered in moss or defaced by writings. Imagine those walls being replaced by nice murals, nice paintings done by people from within your community. Paintings of the Charlottesville beachfront, paintings of some of your heroes like Jeff Davidson and others who represented this district before, paintings representing Tobago's history. And imagine as you come further down, the trees that are not being cut and not being maintained, blocking your view of the scenery, are now properly maintained and properly trimmed, and your roadsides, instead of being overgrown with bush, as if CPEP and URP have been quashed in Tobago as well, because no maintenance have been taking place. Imagine with me, you're coming in and those areas are properly landscaped with nice palm trees and immortal trees planted by your roadsides, and you're experiencing your beautiful community, and you're seeing the sea and the nice trees, and you come down into Speyside, and of course the roads in Speyside are also very well done, very well maintained. And as you come across by the playing field and you make that left turn to go up towards Manta Lodge and Blue Waters Inn, that area on the left, which is so poorly kept, imagine that area being uplifted with pavers and planters and a little bit of trees and some nice landscaping and properly painted benches so that you could stop and sit there and chill with your family and take a picture. And while you're doing that, you see some visitors to the island stopping there and doing the same thing. Because currently now they will pass straight. Nobody will want to stop to get out there. It's a poor sight. Imagine that area being properly maintained. And as you go up further, Manta Lodge on the left, and you look across the Manta Lodge, and you see every balcony has a tourist sitting there bareback, taking in the views and taking in the nice breeze, because your tourism sector is working again, and you have a Secretary of Tourism that when they traveled, it wasn't just for traveling's sake, but they traveled and they talked to hotel operators and cruise operators that were willing to bring investments to the island. Imagine that. And then, of course, when you get to Charlottesville, that dangerous bend that killed people in the past is no longer there, because it has been redesigned and fixed, and it's a lot safer. So you no longer have to hold your heart in your hand when you're coming down there by bus, because the bus feeling like it will tip over. Imagine that is fixed. And then as you get down into Charlottesville, having navigated the newly designed Turpin Bend, I mean, you could still call it Turpin Bend. It still will be a bend. I'm not saying it's going to be straight. It will still be a bend, but a lot safer. It wouldn't be as sharp, and it wouldn't be as treacherous with the new design that the PNM will execute when we get back into office. And as you navigate that bend, and you come down into Charlottesville, and you make the right to come into the village, imagine you look to your left, and at the beginning of that area there is a nice, beautiful, scenic boardwalk covering the entire seafront with redesigned and upgraded booths, and you have your Charlottesville people in there, some selling jewelry, some selling food, barbecue, roast fish, some selling all kinds of things that people will buy. And as you go further down, the boardwalk extends all the way down to the jetty with lovely benches for you to sit on, nice landscaping, trees and greenery so that you could sit there. And when you're breathing, the natural smell of a clean, serene Tobago graces your nostrils, and you say to yourself, this is Tobago. And while you sit on that boardwalk, taking in the view of the sea, and the kids on the beach bathing and having a good time, behind you is a lot of noise and a lot of activities, because your mini mall is bustling and people going through there, visitors, locals alike, shopping, and Charlottesville people getting sales and making their money, and so on. And behind the mini mall, you have a football game taking place, and your playing field is properly lighted. But of course, it's daytime, so the lights aren't on. But you can't help but notice the new state-of-the-art pavilion, and a lot of people from Charlottesville sitting there, socializing, supporting whoever is playing the football. And while that is happening, in your spanking new community center, a training program is taking place in there. And again, Charlottesville young people in there being trained to do art and craft, garment construction, food, you name it. That is the vision. That is only part of the vision that the PNM wants to implement when we get back into office. So that's, of course, a major part of the tourism plan, and ensuring that we have the infrastructure in place. And when we do these things, yes, we have a tourism sector, but I want you to understand that when we beautify and uplift Tobago and the face of Tobago, we're really doing it for Tobagonians first. Because you live here. Tourists will come, they will spend 6 months for the long stays. Most people will spend 3 to 7 nights, and they go back to where they come from. And if you treat them nice and they had a good time, which we will ensure we do, they will come again. But you live here. You are the ones that get up, you send your children to school, you go to work, you work hard to mind yourself and your families, and you contribute to the development of Tobago. And therefore, more than the tourists, you deserve to enjoy good roads and beautiful surroundings and good comfortable areas. So after a hard day, you could come and socialize and just relax and take in the natural beauty of Tobago. You deserve that. You shouldn't have to wait till you jump on a plane and go to somewhere in Florida, Miami, or wherever, to see nice, properly maintained sidewalks with nice, intricate landscaping. That should be Tobago on a normal day. And we in the PNM will ensure that that happens. Now, Charlottesville also is a critical part of the cruise industry. And one of the things we will ensure is that we attract more cruise vessels to Tobago. And of course, the larger ones tend to go to Scarborough. And in Scarborough, as I indicated in Calder Hall, we will be constructing a new cruise ship village, but we expect as well that some of the smaller vessels will come to Charlottesville. And therefore, in Charlottesville, we will ensure that we improve the infrastructure available to accommodate cruise ships when they come to Charlottesville. Right? Now, as part of our quest, because one of the things we will be doing as an administration when you put us there is seeking out investments. Because no country, no island like ours is developed without investment, especially foreign investment. Government do build hotels, really. Very few examples of that. Hotels and so on, it's normally investors. And Tobago requires a lot of investment. Tobago requires additional hotels. We require a marina. And when we travel, we're not going to be traveling for frivolous reasons. We're going to be traveling to talk to serious people in serious organizations to invest in Tobago. So when a Secretary of Tourism or your Chief Secretary leaves Tobago, he's not going to Tobago Day to party and fet and sell Beneball and take out pictures. I'm your Chief Secretary, and take out pictures and all those kind of things. Right? When your Secretary of Tourism or your Chief Secretary travels, it's not to go to a conference and just sit down in the conference and then the conference is over and they take your money and shop and come back with a suitcase full of clothes and Gucci bags and Gucci belts and all kind of things. And after 4 years, you benefited nothing from those trips. When we travel, it will be to sit in rooms with hoteliers, with cruise lines, with investors, and we will arm ourselves with a prospectus or a document outlining the areas that we need investment in Tobago. And I am giving you the assurance that in one term, we will come back from one of those trips with at least one major hotel, with your cruise ship village and a new pier to accommodate an additional 2 to 4 cruise ships. We will come back with your marina, and we will come back with other investments in renewable energy, the fishing sector, and the agriculture sector. And for those of you who may think it is impossible, I want you all to remember how the last Prime Minister, not this one, the last Prime Minister, I want you to remember how he operated. Because just like tourism is important to Tobago, oil and gas is important to Trinidad, or Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm sure you recall the number of times the Prime Minister and the Minister of Energy left here to go to Venezuela, or to go to Washington, or to go to America or some other country to meet with oil companies to say to them, we have these potential fields, we have these projects that require investment, come to Trinidad and Tobago and invest. When you hire an administration, when you hire a chief secretary and an executive council, it's a serious matter. And they should be working daily, day and night, on your behalf. It's not to dress up nice and take pictures on Instagram. It's not to travel all over the globe and have a good time. It's not to go on the internet and look for conferences, and any conferences you find that align with your division, you bring a note and ask the chief secretary, and the chief secretary approving you to go on conferences. And no benefits to this island. That's not what it's about. When you hire us, it is to work for you to improve your quality of life, to manage the THA in a way that will bring benefits to you, to spend your money, the money that is allocated to Tobago every year, in a way that will put your interests first, and to get and find investors wherever they are to come and invest in Tobago. And those are the things that we will consider wins. A win for us is not a refurbished tennis court or hard court, because they will come to you just now in a few weeks to tell you, put them back in office. And when you ask them what they did, they will show you a refurbished tennis court in Speyside. He will tell you about a home of blue food in Bloody Bay that was started and never completed, and it is still there languishing now. What else did we commission up here? Which center? Now I'm talking about in this district. Those are the things that he will come to celebrate as wins. And I can tell you, put us there, put Maxton there, put me there as your chief secretary. And in 4 years' time, I'm coming to tell you, about the hotels and the thousands of jobs that we created through those hotels, and the marina, and the different sites and attractions that we introduced for you to enjoy and for tourists to enjoy. I'm coming to tell you about the farmland development program that allowed farmers, even from this community, to get land and to produce food. Those are wins for us. We're not in this to refurbish. I mean, yeah, you maintain those things. That's your job. And you just bathe your skin every day. That's a natural thing. Refurbishing a community center and a hard court, that's like bathing. That's maintenance. What new have they brought to really improve your quality of life? And the answer is nothing. So the final thing I will talk about very quickly, because I know Charlottesville is a fishing community, so I can't come here and not talk about fishing. So we intend to transform fisheries in Tobago and the way we do fishing. Because I can tell you stories about fish processors who are so talented that they produce some of the best processed fish. And I'm saying processed because I really can't remember if they want to eat, if it was smoked fish or salt fish. So let me say processed fish. It tasted better than anything that I ever picked up in Penny Savers or Moorstead that came into the country. I'm telling you that. And I want you to believe me. And 5 years ago, that fish processor told me that he was having problems getting fish in Tobago. And he had to get it from Trinidad. And it was expensive. And it wasn't a reliable supply. And I suspect he requires a quality fish like tuna, yellowfin tuna, and so on. And then I saw one of them a couple weeks ago. And the story is that they have stopped operations. They stopped producing that tasty, delicious smoke or saltfish that I eat, something that I am sure if it goes to the international market, it will rival anything that is produced out there in terms of taste, in terms of quality. He had to stop for lack of fish. And see right there? So that can't continue. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to build out at least three fishing ports in Tobago. One in Scarborough, one in Plymouth, and one in Palatovia. Then that company called Tobago that they destroyed, of course we're going to rebuild the company and restructure it and put it back on its original moorings. We're going to cause that company, give them the funding and everything and the approval, to go and look and find and acquire 5 commercial fishing vessels. After that, we will identify 5 fishing communities here in Tobago, and Charlottesville is likely to be one of them. We're going to say to those fishing communities and those fishermen, come together, form a company or a cooperative. We know all you're accustomed to pirogues, but we're going to give you all some training on how to operate this larger vessel. Form yourselves into a team. Operate the vessel, fish the vessel, and a vessel like that, when you go out, you ain't coming back for a week or 2. Right? And of course, those in Charlottesville will have to operate from Roxborough because that is the closest fishing port. Roxborough or Palatovia, whichever one. Right? Because we will not necessarily have the money because you have to balance it. So we can't put a fishing port in every community. We're not going to do that. That is unnecessary and irresponsible. So we're going to say to them, fish the vessel, find the fish that does make big money in the international market, which is tuna, and it have others. Bring it here, go to the port, or your base port, whichever one it is, offload the fish. Now at those ports, they're going to have fueling facilities, cold storage facilities, and basic maintenance facilities at all 3 ports. Of course, when they catch the fish, if it works as it should, because there are 5 vessels, we should have enough fish for all our processors to get and process. We should have enough fish to maybe sell fresh to the local market, to restaurants, to hotels, etc. And we should have enough fish to also export, firstly to Trinidad and to the international market. And of course, when the fish processors process the fish, I am sure some of it will be exported as well. And that is how we intend to start the transformation of the fishing sector in Tobago. The pirogue men are going to be asked to come together, get trained, get prepared, and operate a big vessel to catch big fish and plenty fish. And I know you're going to love this part, for big money. So, I've started conversations with some of the fishermen, and they are looking forward to that challenge. And let me say, it was attempted before, a similar model was attempted before, because that is why the capital of paradise came here, and that ended up in the hands of the THA, and the THA is now operating that. And I'm saying we're going to do it a bit differently and ensure that it works this time across 5 fishing communities. Of course, the THA and TATCO We'll give all the necessary support in terms of management and so on, because we don't expect fishermen to function as accountants, right, and to sort out the books and so on. So we're going to find ways to ensure that even people from within those communities can be engaged to treat with the administrative issues of those cooperatives or companies within the various communities. And of course, when it works, because I am sure it's going to work, we're going to expand from 5 to other communities. And before you know it, we have to be building out additional ports. And as part of our manifesto as well, you will see where very experienced fishermen, if they want to take on the challenge, we're going to have a program in place that will allow them to procure larger vessels on their own with lease-to-own arrangements through that same TATCO company. So, fishing has serious potential, right? Once done properly, once done right, there are going to be a lot of opportunities for income generation, job creation, and beyond the fresh fish, I am really excited about the processed fish, because I remember what I taste. Imagine eating something 5 years ago and remember how it tastes. And I don't know if it's my wife cooking or the fish processing. I remember how that tastes up to today. And that, and I'm sure a number of other fish processors in Tobago have serious, serious potential. And I'm looking forward to the day that Tobago produce fresh and processed will take over Trinidad first and foremost, and the regional and international markets. We are importing a lot of food from Trinidad. If the boat don't sail, if Cameron, her foolishness, cause war to break out, and God forbid the boat can sail, you will starve. You will starve. And no, you wouldn't need KFC neither, because the chicken coming from Trinidad too. We are not producing enough food, whether it be livestock, crops, or fish, and the next PNM administration will change that. Thank you very much.
A lot of food, literally a lot of food for thought. Real tangible plans, that's what you get when you come to a PNM meeting. Not the old talk and the bacchanal, but real, tangible, doable plans. And we know Tobago deserves better, because we've not seen that. We've not seen that over the last 4 years. We've seen governance by VUPS, VAPS, and Vai. That's what we have seen. And the People's National Movement is the party that is willing, able, and ready to make it happen for Tobago once again. And so I want to invite you at this time to make your way to the microphone. And even to our online viewers, we want to thank you for joining us. We see there are some questions in the comments, so we will get to those questions as well. But we want to invite you to the microphone, our audience here. Ask your questions directly to the, I almost said straight off the bat, Chief Secretary. Ask your questions directly to the political leader and soon to be Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly. Ask your questions directly to your prospective candidate and soon to be your area representative. Ask your questions directly and you will get the direct answers. Who will be first?
Pleasant good night to each and everyone. All protocol observed. Pleasant night to Mr. Webster Roy, was did human service to us I will miss her. She and Shamfa. I will really miss them in Parliament because I used to look forward, when there are certain bills that to be discussed in Parliament, I used to really take a time off to listen to Ms. Webster Roy and Shamfa 𝐂𝐿𝐴. Also, Mr. Hislop, on your maiden contribution that you made in Parliament. Also, Ms. London from Roxborough, excellent. And Mr. Ansel Dennis. All right? I just want to say that you take some of me, I don't know if you was there when I was writing some of the things and then that you, a lot of the things I have them.
Come closer to the mic first, right?
Right. I have them on me, and I have a dossier here, so. So I don't know if anybody taking notes that whatever I have here, that I only hope that who listen on the outside, right, they don't take and pass it on the other side, right? Because I have a very long listener, so.
Go ahead, man, go ahead.
Right. Well, I was talking about the expansion of the, we talk about the expansion of the jetty, the Charleville jetty, and also the fisher folks. If you could have them to put on one side, because they're all over the beach, and that is not a good thing. So something needs to be done about that. Yeah. All right, you mentioned about the Turpin Bend. That is also, it is. All we have is 2 mirrors, one on the other side, and that's it, nothing else, because I know there was agitating about, we're going to fix that, we'll fix this, and so far, nothing has been fixed. Right. We're going down the road. Pirates Bay Road, as I saw again, need to be fixed. One thing I did want to do in Pirates Bay also, I asked, I like to do volunteer work and things. So I went down by the Bay, asking guys and things, hey, we need to go and clean Pirates Bay. And believe you me, the response was like, who paying? I said, pay what? Let me go and volunteer, and this is our beach. We have to take pride in our beach, right? But I am not getting that kind of response, so I don't know what could happen. The other thing is security for our water treatment plant up at Campbellton. There is no security at that place, none whatsoever. Something needs to be done because would you check all the water other places, security is there. And the only place that have no security is the one in Charlottesville. So we need to do something about that soon, right? You remember that it's water we're dealing with, right? And we don't know who could go and tamper with XYZ. So WASA, this is for you, and you need to do something about that and do something quickly. Right, you talk about the fixing of the, down by the beach. If we will continue with, because that was in the plan, after the building finished, the esplanade continue going there. I have it here too, right? So what I'm seeing also that sometimes politicians give people chances and tell them, hey, go and build, so go and build there, which is, I don't support that. Because I'm seeing concrete structure now on the beach, right? I'm sure you see that, right? If something like what happened in Jamaica, a storm passed, they're looking for compensation. Who compensating them? I don't know, right? So we need to deal with that kind of situation there. I don't think, because the beach belongs to the government basically, right? But you can't tell them to go and because they get water and they get electricity too. Who paying for that? I don't know, right? I'm not against development, so let everybody look at outside and say, well, I feel against anybody, right? I'm not against that, but let me deal with certain things and let me deal the right way. To Mr. Roberts, I know you're into agriculture, right? Our access road in Charlottesville, we have basically none. I just zoom a little far up Bel Air side, which is Corridge Road. very treacherous. Now the road are not all that bad, but some of the access road further in going to Starwood, all that road become abandoned right now. No road to go because vehicles used to go right inside. And now, no way you can go inside there. Maybe if you have the little track to go to traverse that place now, because the other side, it's better. We'll pass on Flagstaff and go down. But this road, nothing at all. So we need to get that going in order for we to bring out the produce and so on. And you have to try, I wouldn't know, to get the youths and them into, because after some of them finish their legal 5 days and 10 days, they're on the block and wasting their time away, doing nothing. Because I am a member of the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service. I retired now. And sometimes when I come from work, I used to just change my clothes and go in the garden one time. I asked some youths already. I say, hey, let me go and plant some coconut and things. They tell me, there's some of them, you know what children tell me? They rather go and plant marijuana. Man, no serious, they tell me that. They rather plant weed than to go in the bush and plant the coconut. And but at the end of the day, they know they go and show my thing on them up there. Right, so we had to get some pretty lessons. We had to also deal with that also. Right, Top River Road, up Top River. We have two, well, some people call it river, some call it gully and West Upper, right? But there are some houses that have been challenged there right now. With these gullies, they need to fix because basically we don't have no sort of rain. But if we have seriously like what took place in Jamaica, believe you me, I check about 5 houses, they will be, I think, at the pass. They will fall into that ravine, up Top River, Bamboo Village. These places need to be fixed. And the other one is J.D. Elder Drive. If you could remember, 2 years ago, when we have all the rain that fell in Charlottesville, that place is still there. It needs to be fixed. All the debris on them, they are still there. Yes, all the debris on them, they're still there. They need to be removed from that place because some of the debris are into one of my cousin and them yard, from the neighbor yard into my cousin yard. So all these things need to be fixed. When they ask what's going on, everybody's saying, ask the chief sec, ask this, and nobody ain't coming to rescue. What the TEMA came and did some work, right? In order to think so you could pass, but to the other side, you cannot really traverse that. That's because the house is hanging over the road. And you know anything could happen, so I don't know how we're going about doing that. I don't know who in charge, because I know TEMA did their part already. So you just remove all these debris and things from the road. Right. Fire station, we need a fire station in Charlottesville. No, serious. No, what happened? We have some equipment was here already, and they removed them. The last house fire that took place in Charlottesville, the fire hydrant was right there, the house was right there. But at the end of the day, we can't do anything because we didn't have the access, the hoses and thing to extinguish that fire. Normally, we have an overhead siren by the police station. It needs to be activated. You need to fix that siren because at any emergency, they used to activate the siren and all the firefighters from Charlottesville, because we have at least about 20-something firefighters from Charlottesville here. Plenty. We could run a station for ourselves. Okay? We need to get that up and running, and we need to get back a fire station. At something small out there, we could utilize that building out there and get something going. You have to look into that, Mr. Chief Sec, the next Chief Sec. The courthouse, the old courthouse. And the bus shed. And we have, we need refurbishment also.
A transportation hub.
Okay, so you need, no need for...
Yes, so-
Right, so we incorporate in Roxborough too, also.
Yeah.
Thank you. Custom and excise. I see you have custom excise in the community, the health center, and that is a no-no. Custom need to be by themselves, the health center let it be by themselves. We will mix up custom with that. I am saying that we have a building right here. I don't know if that is suitable to put the personnel and them there, or you construct something down the road. By the beachfront down there, 2 containers, and you house them there. Others something that got a little problem, so custom going to the health center now. I do accept that. That is acceptable. Unacceptable. So we're looking at that also. Well, we know we have no health center, right? Because everybody had to go to Speyside and Roxborough.
Well, I'm no health center.
No, there's nothing going on in Sharville. We had to go, you can't, there's nothing there. It closed down. You wasn't aware of that?
Well, I know at one point in time, but I thought it was fixed by now.
No. Same way. No service. We had to go Roxborough, Speyside. Or
And
you go Scarborough.
The chief secretary is aware of this? Okay. Okay. You're going good, you're going good.
Right. I like to see lifeguard also in Pirates Bay. 'Cause I know we have some young fellas now come out, and I hope that they could send some to Pirates Bay. 'Cause Pirates Bay is a very active place. Yeah, so we could need to have them. Also, in Buko Reef also, I would like to see the reef stores put lifeguards on the reef boats and them. I would like to see that because I've been there already and I see like, if something should happen, like somebody collapse and thing, first aid, which is very critical. We need to get something like that going because I've seen recently somebody called for ambulance and 45 minutes gone. That is somebody died dead people.
Yeah.
That is unacceptable. That is a no-no. You can't do that, right? I know my job spec. When I was as a firefighter, they give you 1 minute. That is it. You're out there.
When last has an ambulance been stationed in Charlotte?
That's the next thing. We don't have an ambulance. None. Right? We don't have an ambulance. And that's a very long time now. Dallaford, the same thing. You know, they used to have an ambulance in Dallaford, one Charlottesville, Lansome, and going down the road, nothing. Nada, North Zilch. The fire service one, that I work in neither. So we're in trouble. Right? So that's another thing we have to look into. So I'll take note, eh? I'll give you a little food for thought. Right.
Now, you're all aware that $18 million was spent on 12 ambulances and none in working.
Yeah.
Just making sure you all know that.
I would like to also see lifeguards in the Argyle waterfall. Put some lifeguard in Argyle waterfall. I bring up that topic with Mr. Hazel already, you know. But I don't know. I don't even fell on deaf ears. Like a few years ago, I bring up that idea, but I don't know because you have a lot of people that go to that waterfall and a lot of people lost their life there already also. So we need to see some lifeguards showing up because we have plenty. We have a lot of youths now, so put them there, let them learn the work. Right. I would like to see we have a silo where we could have, we have a lot of fruits in Tobago, wasting, mango, breadfruit, and all this kind of thing. I would like to see that. Have a silo so you could have the people and them bring the stuff, you pay them something, so we could always make with mango juice, with mango cheese, with jam, jelly, and all this kind of thing. So you always, right.
Yeah. So,
So we could have with breadfruit chips and all categories that we have the Irish potato. We have plenty of breadfruit that we wasting in Tobago.
Yep.
Yeah, we could do that. And have the chips and things, big breadfruit chips, you know. So we could always have a thing there. So we let the people and them, whosoever have, you bring them, you pay them.
Yeah.
And
You are
everything
aware
going.
as well that, as you mentioned that, right, under the PNM, the previous administration, we started an agro-processing factory down at 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐫𝐥𝐨𝐭. You all aware of that? Yes. All right, so you all are well informed. I'm just making sure you all are aware. And,
Right.
and it was abandoned, just like this community center across there. And exactly what he is talking about there, that facility would have done that.
The other thing is the Garden Side Street car park. I just take the bus right there and look up the Charlottesville sometime, and that'd be a very shame sometime, seeing the condition of that compound. And that'd be a shame. Grass, you had tall trees growing up in the yard. I was like, nah, this wasn't like that before. And like everything just fall down. There are some guys lining on the other side of the road, liming and drinking and thing, and it ain't looking good. It's not looking good. We need something to be done about that Garden Side Street. There is no lights also when at the dark hours. There's no lights there when they're taking the bus. The bus shed also dilapidated. And I see they're fixing others on the other, like on the highway and thing, but I ain't seen none by Garden Side Street there that need to be fixed. Because remember, it's people from Mason Hall, Lansumi, part of it, taking the bus along with Charlottesville, people coming on this side. And there is no bus. If the rain come down, that's it. They have to run across by wolf on them and shelter the rain. Yeah.
So, remember the now Chief Secretary used to boast about taking the bus. You all remember that? Before he was Chief Secretary, he used to take the bus. So, at that time, he had a lot better facilities. But since he has stopped taking the bus, and he's now being driven around in a Prado, obviously he forgot where he came from. So remind him for me, please, next election where he came from.
I know. One of the things that you mentioned, I have it here too, eh? You see the set of walls that we have in Tobago? All them walls. I talked to Mr. From Pembroke. And I talked to him, I say, you see them walls that we have in Tobago here? We need to have like a Wall Street competition, all the villages and things. Paint them up, because like people like Bonnie Reed and them fellas who in Pembroke, they are icons. I say, all put them fellas their name on, put them on the walls and things, by the school. I tell them that. Yeah, so we could have a competition like every village.
So you had my notes?
No, like you must get my notes. No, they're not knowing. I even talked to Mr. Berkeley a few years ago concerning this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but because you know the wall that they're building is by the school in Pembroke, it was looking so nasty, and I said, nah, this is looking too good. All paint that wall, please, and put up Bonnie Reed and them fellas and them icons and them on that wall, man. Mm-hmm. They look good. Like what them people doing Codlall by the Codlall Junction there. Something like that. Yes. So we can have a Wall Street competition, all the villages and them. Nice up them walls. You have plenty of walls in Tobago. All over, that tall walls. Nice them up, paint them up. You gonna look good.
Definitely.
Right? The other thing is, the guys and them who painting the roads. I think it's time that we get rid of that kind of, we need to get a machine or machines to start marking the demarcation of the roads and things. Instead of have people bending down on the roads, it's not a nice thing. Because also the health, the guys and them health also come into contact. Because remember you talk about paint. You're inhaling that paint from for over a year, period of years and things. That could be detrimental down the road. Cancer and all this kind of thing. Because I would like to see you have a machine to do that, train the men and them how to do it. Be one for the country, one for Tongside, and have demarcation and mark the roads and things. They have the Claude Noel on these spaces. They need to mark over to, because sometimes the night very, very dark. Right? And I have one more complaint to give you. One more. I will be brief. I have a senior citizen, a good friend of mine, she from Sangsazil, and she going through a terrible period right now. She cannot walk, right? She tell me Mr. Morris not here, because he dad fall into his
District, right.
yeah. What happened? She used to work in the customs, and she took ill. She cannot walk or whatever. She was hospitalized for about 6 months for the Spain, St. James. And to me, like, she retired 2012, no pension, no gratuity, nothing for that lady, nothing. When I tell her that she get now, she get a little INS now. She have two caregivers, $3,000. One of that money had to go to one of the caregiver. The other money, little money she had to dip into that to get the next one going. So that causing her a lot of pain and suffering right now. So we'll need to deal with that. I don't know who could help me or help her to get something. Also, she mentioned to me that the ambulance, when she gets sick and she go to the Scarborough Hospital, you will go free. But if you ever come back, I understand now the ambulance don't take you back to your home, right? I hear her pay. She tell me I have to pay $700 right now. I don't know. How she tell me? $700 it costs her, and she don't have that money. She in bed. She can't walk. I will tell you who the person is, so you need to go and check her or with Mr. Morris, and let me deal with that situation because that's my good friend. I don't leave Shaville and go and feed she sometime, you know. Yeah, I just be on she bed, give she water to drink. Now she has she family and them, you know, we're very close.
Right.
We're very, very close. I'm a good friend. Anytime I in Chicago, once I have nothing to do, I go on up Sangsazil and Lime and thing. I ain't going to look for no woman up there. I go on I'm a good friend of them. Right? So, thanks. Thanks for listening.
I must say a pleasant good night to everyone.
Good evening.
Good night. All protocol observed. To my
Lower the mic a bit.
Incoming candidate and representative. You might not know me, but I know you quite well. I grew up in Louisville for a while. Marva, Francisca, those are my aunts.
Yes, yes.
Right. So I must say, I know the journey will be hard, but press on. With God's grace, you will be there. I have just, Mr. Christmas had mentioned the real serious concern, but what I want to say, the link road to Lansome, Bloody Bay, when you pass along that road, you don't know where to drive.
The worst road in Tobago right now.
Definitely. I passed there at least 2 or 3 evenings back. You don't know where to drive at all. You know they will brush cut the road, but still yet you don't know how far.
The bush is the road.
Right? Now. Yes, definitely. Up at the Methodist school, up to yesterday morning, I spoke with the principal. We are having a serious challenge there, the drain. And for a long time, my father and other men, they used to scrub that drain. But for now, I don't know. The young men who working, they need fast money. They get time to scrub the drain. Them just passing the boom and they go. It's real now. Right now, it is very much mossy. Myself and the young lady in the pink, we were working down at the mall down there. And I don't know if the situation is now, but it's when rain fall, the whole upstairs is in water. I don't know what is the problem. We don't know where the water coming from. I know they were doing some renovation because they have a contractor now who works down there. And, well, I haven't been in there for a long while because we shift from there. And they paint the front. I assume that they just painted the front because of the work that is going on the community center and thing, in which we were surprised because this community center should have already been, built.
Yes.
Right? But they come in, say they will fix thing, and election coming, so they're now hustling to fix thing. Right. By the fishery, there's an ongoing problem by the fishery. Ongoing problem.
That is so.
It is not, yes, this too a problem. It is not sanitary at all, at all.
I mean, you're not maintaining it.
Yesterday afternoon, I looked at it for myself. Fees, I don't know. If you're using the building on this side, how feces ending up on that side? You're seeing it bubbling up.
That's by the fish facility.
That's where they build where you can store your engine and so forth on the beach there now.
Right.
Right, as a young man.
How far is that from where they cutting and cleaning fish?
Okay, it's right there. Just that the road is separating. Right? It's on the opposite side.
Going into the sea.
Wow. How long that has been
That
so?
has been there for a while.
It's a long time.
Because that's a health hazard.
Public health issue.
Definitely.
And if you have
You'll get
fish.
the pump, the truck that comes to pull feces and thing. It will come, and within 2 weeks, okay again. I don't know what is the situation down there right now. I don't think the ice thing is working, because the fishermen right now, they are cleaning and selling outside of the building.
that ice machine, how long it down?
From inception. The machine is there from inception, but it is
How long
not
it not
in
working?
function. For a long while. For a long while.
So the chief secretary, he comes to Charlottesville?
He just come to take his wife from here. No, serious. He comes to take his wife. He makes sure that he gets a wife from Charlottesville, and that is all. We just see him passing. No, we have to say definitely what the point is. Because if I am living in my house and I have my children in my house, I will try to talk to them, put them on the correct road.
Because how could you be the chief secretary and your district is perhaps the worst off?
Mr. Incoming Chief Secretary, which part the Chief Secretary wife is living, where she come from? If you should pass on that road to come all the way back down to which part my mommy and Mr. Christmas live in, you will be ashamed. You will be ashamed. Miss John Baptiste and all is living there. I don't have to hide. No one's fault. But if you is from a community, he born and grow in Speyside, he fixing Speyside, but your wife come from Charlottesville, fix Charlottesville too. You understand? But no, you're only fixing one place and leaving the other. We are very much surprised at him and the health center. He told us 3 months. Now it is close to a year. Even self, I need to get a little pressure test. I have to go to Speyside. And sometime when things heavy down there, they're telling you have to go to Roxborough.
Wow.
That is not fair. I've been to doctor in Speyside, and aged people have to come down there.
So
that is not fair.
So you have no fishing facility, no health center,
None.
no community center,
None.
no good roads, no ambulance.
So we are doomed. We are doomed.
And fishermen operating in feces.
Definitely. Definitely.
My God.
So I think it would be fair to say you have no area representative.
None. And we have to get him out. That's all. Thank you.
Now, I started my introduction when I spoke earlier about Charlottesville people and what I love about them. And that is they don't talk with water in their mouth. And I'm saying that to say this. Open all your mouth and talk. Let your voices be heard. Huh? Well, if you don't want to open your mouth and talk, use this. On January the 26th or the 19th?
Somewhere around
Somewhere around there? Use the Santo. Because I've heard of all of those concerns quite some time now. Quite some time now. The sewer system, the ice, no health center. And nothing has changed. And it tells you, and this is why I keep saying, I will offer fair and equitable representation. Distribute it. Don't focus in Speyside alone. Right? Let the other communities. So if Charlottesville balling, so you can imagine how Lansome is feeling. Lansome feels left out. And to highlight the issue you spoke about earlier regarding the access road, I really wanted to come back to that because I know we have a policy that is going to bring back the access road program. And those are going to be filled, or the work is going to be done by Tobago contractors because we are all in the business of putting Tobago first. But added to that, in order to have effective representation, you must understand three aspects of your roles and responsibilities. And I'm beginning to realize that none of the assemblymen presently,
except one,
has no clue about what representation means. You have an administrative role.
except one, by.
Except one.
Except one?
Yes.
Except one.
Yes.
Except one. One is enough. Except one is enough. You have an administrative role, you have a legislative role, and you have a representative role. And these people accept the minority, which holds them to task. And only because of him we know half of what is going on. Doesn't have a clue that they have to fulfill all of these functions in order to be effective. So they can't represent you. They are putting zero policies in place because ask them, what policy have they put in place? We don't know where they're working from. You know, we just...
More than policy, what is the development plan for Tobago?
We don't have any. We don't know what their intentions are, what they plan to do, how they're going to do it.
You know what their development plan for Tobago is? Just sitting with a mic in front of their face and a camera on them and say Tobago is the greatest little island on the planet.
Yeah.
So I guess by saying that over and over, development will come. We are not going to say Tobago is the greatest little island on the planet. We are going to make Tobago the greatest little island on the planet.
So we have a couple questions online. One, I know the hard work by the former NP for Tobago East as it relates to the bus service to Lansing. I don't know if it is that the service has now deteriorated again, but there's a question online asking what are the plans as it relates to the unreliable bus service in and out of Lansing.
So you will see this in our vision. I'm trying to stop using the word manifesto. You will see in our vision that one, the THA is going to procure some buses for its own use and to service the people of Tobago, separate and apart from PTSE. So the THA will supplement the bus service. And we are going to construct at least 4 transportation hubs. Right now, we are not of the view that you need to have a bus terminus. As people have been clamoring for, we need a bus terminus, we need a bus terminus. In Scarborough, at Collar Hall, I spoke about the Scarborough waterfront complex. Incorporated into that will be a transportation hub for Scarborough, and that will be the largest hub because, of course, all the buses tend to converge in Scarborough. We're going to put a hub in Charlottesville, we're going to put a hub in Roxborough, we're going to put a hub in Palatavere, and we're going to put a hub in Crown Point. And I want to say as well that as part of our efforts to green the island, because you're going to hear me talk a lot about greening, because I believe that Tobago has an opportunity to promote itself and market itself as a green island. And green also goes with clean, not just because they rhyme, but green energy is also called clean, renewable energy. So the greening is not just about the landscaping, right? And greening the space to have more trees and more plants around, which, by the way, will improve the health of the people of the island. It's not just a beautification thing. It's also an improvement in your health and your mental health and so on. But greenness will also mean that we are going to be promoting the use of electric vehicles on this island. Now, we're not going to say that everybody must buy an electric vehicle. That's not what we're saying. But when it comes to the THA and vehicles for public use, we will be making an effort to gradually transition to the use of electric vehicles. So those buses that I spoke about, we are going to be looking at the possibility, firstly, of electric buses. Of course, we'll take into consideration the terrain and so on. And it's not something I believe we need to worry about, because electric vehicles have come to the point now where they are even more powerful than ICE vehicles, internal combustion engines, right? In terms of horsepower and torque, electric vehicles have gotten to the point where they are even faster than Ferraris and Lamborghinis. The new Tesla Model X and Model S and Cybertruck are doing 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds, right? So, as part of our greening initiative, those buses to supplement the bus service, because Tobago has to mind its business. And in some cases where you have national responsibilities being discharged to Tobago, if they're not being discharged effectively, your next PNM administration will simply take care of it. And we're going to take care of the buses as well.
Thank you, Mr. Dennis. This one is directed at Mr. Dennis. What are your thoughts and plans for the motorsport world in Tobago? Because it is a sport. We'd like to know what are the party's plans and its part in tourism as well.
So in Friendship Estate, we will pursue the construction of 2 very important facilities, because sport tourism is another important aspect of our tourism and our economy generally. So even before I get to the facilities, you see all those sport tourism initiatives that we lost under this administration, we are going to pursue all of them and return them to Tobago. When last we also had Dragon Boat Festival, gone, we're going to bring that back. Sailing Regatta, gone, we're going to bring that back. There's another one that went recently, Cycle Classic, gone, we're going to bring that back. And I am hearing the issue is that we do have money. Or we do have money to invest in critical events, because when you have those events, islands full, hotel full, islanders sink sometimes, and you actually feel Tobago getting lower to the sea, first it's full of people. You don't have money for that, but you have money to spend $25 million over 4 years in travel. So you're going to bring back all those initiatives. You're going to bring back the sailing regatta. When we establish the fishing ports, we're going to bring back the fishing tournaments. Because our idea is that Tobago must become a festivals island. At any point in time in the year, something must be happening in Tobago to bring people to the destination.
Exactly.
Whether it's a carnival, a blue food, a heritage, a jazz, a regatta, a culinary festival, a music festival, a yam festival, a dashing festival, cycle classic, something must be happening on the island to bring people to the island, and we will develop that. So in Friendship, we're going to construct an international cricket stadium. And of course, with an international cricket stadium, you're opening up the island now to host regional and international cricket tournaments such as CPL. And very close to that cricket stadium, we will pursue as well the construction of a motorsport facility that will have a drag strip, that will have a drift space, and that will have possibly as well a small circuit. And all of that is part of our sports tourism thrust. That is how you drive tourism. And everywhere else is selling sea, sun, sand. Barbados have sea, sun, and sand. But you know what we have that they don't have? Festivals. We could pursue that. Of course, they have crop over. But in Tobago, we have Blow Food. We have jazz. We have heritage. Heritage just be 2 weeks. We have 2 carnivals. We used to have some big fisherman fits long time, right? We can have a situation where almost every community could adopt and own and execute a festival. And you know, there's another thing we're going to do quickly. The Heritage Festival is now on life support. It ain't dead yet. It's on life support. We moved from having, I can't remember the exact number, but for us to get to a point where, imagine 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐫𝐥𝐨𝐭𝐭𝐞𝐯𝐢𝐥𝐥𝐞 didn't participate in Heritage. That happened, I think, was last year. For us to get to that point, it means it's really bad. Canaan stopped participating. Bethel only now trying to come back. We have to revive our Heritage Festival. Our heritage is too important for us to lose. And we have to revive that. And I can tell you one thing we are going to pursue. You see that Moriah old-time wedding? It's time for us to have some real weddings. For money. People must pay to have that Moriah old-time wedding experience as their actual wedding. You must get paid for that in US dollars and pounds and euros, and we will pursue that.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions from our audience before I take maybe the last 2 from the online viewers? We still have a mic available. We're going to be wrapping up shortly. And so the question from all of our online viewers, can you please explain what are the plans for the people of Speyside?
So Speyside is very interesting, and I'm glad the chief spoke about the festivals, because one of the key areas we need to pursue, especially in Speyside, would be a fish and seafood festival, because it's important that we keep these things going to keep the island abuzz. And I think a fish and seafood festival is a critical festival that is in tandem with our culture, and that is ideal for Speyside. Also, a slipway needs to be placed to allow the fishermen to be able to pull their boats up comfortable to have their boats serviced. So that is critical. Another thing for Speyside is the Institute of Marine Affairs, where UTT is offering marine science studies and placing that in Speyside because it's uniquely located. We have so much marine activity happening out at sea there. And also, a critical thing is that sargassum seaweed. If you understand how it flows, it actually comes through Giles and comes through from upper Speyside there, and then it spreads throughout. So if you can have an institution researching the use of it, researching how to capture it before it actually enters and starts spreading, that is going to be critical. And those are just a few of some of the things we're hoping to have going for Speyside in particular. Also, that Manta Lodge, that we have to ask ourselves, how has the community of Speyside benefited? Are they partners in that arrangement? Are they really benefiting? The water wheel, excellent tourist attraction, just there languishing. How are we going to capitalize on something like that? And there are a number of other initiatives that Speyside in particular focus will be placed on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roberts.
The first plan for Speyside should be to get rid of Fali.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Charlottesville, you have been a fantastic audience this evening. I want to thank as well our viewers online. This, again, has been another engaging meeting, another engaging community conversation. And so we want to thank both Mr. Roberts and Mr. Dennis for taking the time out to be here with us, to share, to give us some insights into the plans, the projections, for us to put Tobago first again, because whether you like it or not, if you're honest, if we are honest as Tobagonians, we have not received the proper representation, proper governance in the last 4 years, and Tobago definitely deserves better. And so I want to ask two gentlemen, starting with Mr. Roberts and then followed by Mr. Dennis, for you guys to give us your closing remarks, 2 minutes, 2 minutes closing remarks.
Again, I indicated earlier that the struggle that I have been through, and now I'm willing and ready and quite capable of putting myself forward to fight for the people of this electoral district. As I indicated earlier as well, I come to you with compassion, humility, and a desire to serve. Not with bribes, not with money, and not with a sellout agenda. I am here to serve all of you equally and equitably, because this district, Charlottesville, Speyside, Dallaford, Bloody Bay, Lansome, Castara, Palativere, deserves better. Without you, I actually see this district that represents the heartbeat of Tobago. It epitomizes what Tobago looks like culturally. Beauty pristine, it represents that. And it is time that this district be put first, because you deserve better. Tobago deserves better. So let us work together to put Tobago first and put your district first. We can all agree that we've been left out. Currently, we've been last, and it's time we be put first again.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Mr. Dennis?
Well, I've been generally saying at these meetings that Tobago is last, but tonight I seem to have discovered that there is a community in Tobago that is last, because I have not heard of this kind of abandonment in any of the other districts. And it confuses me, because the Chief Secretary himself, the man in charge of the island, is the representative for this district. And based on what you have said to me this evening, and said to us, and said to Tobago, because there are persons online looking on, about 300 of them, then you have to love yourselves enough to put yourself first again. And I want to give you all an assignment, especially the people in Charlottesville, because I said to you earlier that imagine Charlottesville, which is an hour and a half away from Buku, is better off with a Chief Secretary from Buku Point. And I'm not saying that, but here's what I want you to do. When you go back to the fishing facility in the morning, find about 3 or 4 of the fishermen and ask them whether or not the ice machine had shut down in 2020. It might have been 2020 or 2021. And ask them what happened when Ansel Dennis, as Chief Secretary, visited Charlottesville and discovered that. I'll tell you what happened. When I visited Charlottesville and discovered that the ice machine was down, because it's mechanical, it will go down from time to time, I called the administrator of the Division of Agriculture and I told him that it needed to be fixed immediately. And those fishermen, when you ask them, they should tell you, if they are speaking the truth, that the facility was fixed within 1 week. In fact, the day after I left Charlottesville, a technician was up here the following day looking at the machine. And when they looked at it, they discovered that it needed a part. Within a week, the facility was fixed. The difference between Ansel Dennis and Farley Augustine is that Ansel Dennis will fix your problems in a week, and Farley Augustine will ignore you for 4 years.
I was waiting for something else to come after that. Thank you very much, gentlemen. You've been fantastic. You have shared your vision, shared what Tobago would look like under the People's National Movement, under the leadership of our Chief Secretary, Ansel Dennis. Charlottesville, Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, we thank you for tuning in. We thank you for being part of this conversation. We ask you to join us on Monday at 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐫𝐥𝐨, where the conversation continues and the vision will be we'll continue to share the vision of the People's National Movement for Tobago and Tobago's governance. Do get home safe. Have a blessed night. And God bless you all.
Good conversation again. You didn't get a picture in Castar?
Yeah, we get plenty, man.